Hello, hi everyone. So in this video we are continuing the scripting part, and in our previous video we saw how we can actually get the data for example for one coin. It can be Bitcoin or a Dash, for example. They have the same length, okay, the length of the response body. I mean specifically the history array is 1825. Now we are going to see how we can actually have for all coins, okay. So the first thing before we get started to write anything, in the previous video the value that we actually saw here is 1365. That's wrong. We should have 1465. Okay, that's you should make these changes and as well in your code here. So let me just copy the code. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, and we will be writing our code now. Okay, the first thing that I want to show you, I have a table here. I have the coin ID, okay, I have the coin name, and I have also the length for each individual coin. Okay, I have 1825, for example Cosmos. I have 1144. okay, and I have some other values here. So let's see why we have these values and why we are going, for which purpose I'm using this one. 1705. Okay, this value is the one that we are using in our code. Let's go back here in our code, right here in the B level. That's a value that is going to be used in the last loop that we are going to have for the for loop. This one, not this one, but this one. And in order to collect the last part of the response, okay, it is actually going to start from 1705 and it will go to 1824. okay, so to collect the last part of our JSON response, if you want to have kind of visual, so this is, let's say this is the last part, okay, and by having this value here I can actually calculate what is the length of my last array. For example h, I can just take this value 1825 minus this value, I'm going to have 120. So that is the length of my last array. Okay, it is important to know this value for all coins because it's not going to be the same. That's why I'm doing this. So if it is Dash, it is fine. I'm going to have 1705 and it is actually going to we are going to have the same length. But if we have Decreed, for example this coin 1783, that's a length. Okay, if I do this value minus this value, I'm getting 78. Okay, that's the length of my coin array H. Okay, that's one thing to understand. Then we have the second part where we have the length for each coin. It's even more smaller. Okay, for example Chainlink, I have 1407. In this case the value that I'm having here, it is not 1705, it is not 1465 which is here, but it is 1220. So in this case what is happening, if we have a Chainlink, I'm not using all the arrays. I'm just going to have few arrays, but not all 8 arrays it will be used. So I'm going to have A, B, C, D, E, and then F. I'm not using these two. Okay, that's what we have to see here. Okay, so we're gonna use 6 arrays, and also the last array. So for example coin array F, the length is not going to be the same depending on the coin that I'm going to have as input. If it is Chainlink, the length is 187. If it is Binance coin, it's going to be 207. That is also changing here. Okay, so we have to notice two different things: the length, the number of arrays that we are going to use, and also the length of my last array. It is also different depending on the coin that we receive. So I put all this together like in a form of again arrays. Let's go back to the code here. I want to show you something. If you have Bitcoin, I can use these two arrays. var A and B. That's what I have here and here. Okay, so it's like a pair. Okay, if it is Bitcoin, if it is Dash, if it is Decreed, I can use this one. Okay, but if it is some other coins, I need some other pairs. Okay, I cannot have the same pair because the length is different. I'm gonna have I should build different arrays. So therefore I'm gonna have array C and D, E and F. Each one will have the for example, the same way we did for A and B. We're gonna have here the length for each individual arrays that we are having here. So we know obviously now we have only 6 arrays. It's visible here, and the D is actually the value that we are going to have in the history array. Okay, right here, same logic, same thing that we have done for A and B, but we are doing for now for the coin Bitcoin and Dash. We built these arrays, so we are doing the same thing for other coins. So I have all the pairs here, so I'm gonna just copy the pairs and then go here, put it right here, and then I'm gonna put a gap here so it's gonna look like a pair. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is we need to know now. We can see in the code we have 120 and 207 here, 231, but we cannot have this all the time. Okay, as we saw here, the length, it is changing depending on the coin that we have as input. So we need to work now how we can change these values, like based on the input. Okay, we need to put some other code which is actually going to automatically have a different value here instead of having 120 or any other value. Okay, so that's what we are going to do now. So what I did, the first thing, I'm creating an array. That array will contain my coin, which coin I have, and the second row will have the values that I have here. Okay, the length. So 120, 120, 78, 207, and then so on. Okay, so if I want to access this value, what I need to do, so the name of the array is going to be coins ID length pair. It's going to be coins ID length pair 1 0. I'm going to get to here. Okay, if it is a 0 0, I'm going to get to Bitcoin. Okay, I'm going to have this array and I can access this in this way. And so now let's create this one. Let's create this array in our code. Let's put that, and then we will write the code and you will understand how we can change that. Up, did something wrong. Let's go here. Copy. I'm gonna have it on top here. Great. So, but you can see here I have Bitcoin, Dash, Decreed, and Binance Coin, and so on. These are just names, okay, but I have to create those variables, so I have to show that in the beginning, okay, which is this one. So I have var Bitcoin equal to 1, var Dash equal to 13, var Decreed equal to 20. So I'm creating those variables. Inside this variable, for each variables I have the coin ID. So that's the first thing that we have to define. So I'm going to define that here. Okay, and then I have another array where I have Bitcoin, Dash, Decreed, Binance Coin, and so on. And then in the same array I have another array which has these values, which are the length. Okay, 120, and then so on. Now we are going to change these values based on the input. So how we can change that? So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a for loop. Okay, in that for loop I'm going to have k as variable. It will be equal to 0, k smaller than 8 because if we are having 8 coins, and then k plus plus. Okay, I'm going to open, and then I can put anywhere here, close. Okay, the goal here is I'm going to run 8 times the loop, but we are not going to execute the code 8 times. Okay, we are going to have a condition after that. Only if this condition is satisfied we can run the code. Okay, what is that condition? The condition is going to be checking what is the input that I have. Okay, let's imagine that you have as input 1 Bitcoin 1. So we are going to check if I have really 1. So how we can check that? So I can put here if inputs, okay, and I can have coin underscore ID, which is a variable that I will be creating in Flow Designer, okay, which will contain basically the value that we are going to send as an input. Okay, it will be equal to a certain value. Okay, then I'm gonna just open this one, close it. Okay, so what I'm going to have here is I can have 1, 13, 28 and something like this, but instead of having this, I'm going to have a syntax which is actually going to get the value of the coin that I from this array. So I can write here coin ID last array pairs, okay, brackets. So if I want Bitcoin, I'm gonna have 0 0, okay, but if I want dash, it is going to be 0 1. So each time I will have the second one, it will be changing like this. I'm gonna have here k, so k will be 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so what's happening here, I am running a loop. In that loop, okay, let me put it like this. Let's say you're running a test. You click on test in Flow Designer. I put the value 59, okay, and if you put that value, then what's going to happen is going to run this loop. When it's going to run the loop, it's going to check what value that we have in the coin ID. So it has already 59 in its memory. Coin ID we have 59, and it's going to compare to the value that is going to pick from this syntax here, from this array. So it's going to see 0 0. What we have, it's Bitcoin. Is it equal to 59? Is it equal to 1? No, it's not equal, so I'm not going to execute the code. Then it's going to check for dash. Okay, the second value that we have here is dash. So it's going to say, is it equal to 13? 59 equals to, no, it's not equal to 13. Then it's going to check for decreed and then Binance coin, and it will come to chain link, okay, which is here, which is actually 04. So coins ID last array pair 04, I have chain link 59. Is it equal to 59? Yes, it is equal to 59. I'm going to execute the code. Then what you have to remember, the value of k here is 4. Okay, that's what we have here. So I can actually use the same logic here. Okay, I'm gonna have coins ID last, sorry, logically it shouldn't be this pair, this var, but it should be this one. Okay, this is the one that we are going to use. So it's going to be coin ID last array pairs, okay, brackets, we're gonna have k equal to 4. But if you want to get this value 187, all we need to do is to put 1. So in this way, in this var c array, in this particular place, we're gonna have 187 if we get as input chain link. That's all we need to understand. So we are using the same logic for all other coins. So all I need to do is just copy and then paste it here. Okay, so we will have automatically the right value in our arrays here, A, C or E. Any of these arrays will have the right value in the last element based on the input in this way. So this is what we have done so far, but still look at the code. We have still A and B here, and we cannot have all the time A and B. That's what we are going to do next. Okay, so we are going to actually create more arrays in order to switch in between pairs. So if I have Bitcoin, I will have A and B here. If I have chain link, I will have C and D. If I have Cosmos, I will have E and F. So that's the next part. So see you in the next video.